And we're connected. Alright. So this is my fifth live stream, the official Fish Folk live stream. It's not loaded on my computer yet. Here we go. Alright. Hey Fish Wizard, what's going on? Thanks for dropping in the stream. Make sure you like the stream, everyone. I got 3 people watching. Nice. I'll wait until we hit the 3-minute mark to start talking about anything. Hey Emily. Thanks for joining us. Yeah, this stream is going to be filled with facts and knowledge, of course, because it's on a breeding rack, if you will. Let me try to center that a little more. That should be good. Alright. How do you live stream? So I use an app called Streamlabs, and Benny's Aquatics does this as well. It's a free app you can download. You download the app, you get onto it, and you log in through Google to your account on there, and then you can live stream. And this makes people who have less than 1,000 subscribers able to do that. And the only reason YouTube did that was just because they had so many people who'd do like 15-hour live streams, and there's like one person watching, and that was them. And so, but yeah. Hey Mizu, what's going on? Yeah, that's why it says Streamlabs in the bottom left corner. So, yeah. Alright. Nothing, my zoo. We're just waiting until we hit 3 minutes, and then we'll start. Alright guys, so we're at the 3-minute mark here. So I am basically not going to be asking any, or answering any harder to answer questions that take longer time. I might say, hey, what's going on to whoever joins, but yeah. Hey Redfish, Bluefish. Okay, so let me back up here. This is a rack. This is a 40-gallon, a 20 long, and another 20 long. And we're going to be looking at all these tanks in this stream. That's a little off center. There you go. This is a 40-gallon breeder, and what I am in the process of growing out are some firemouth fry. There's about 150 plus firemouth fry in there. Not sure what we're gonna do there, but yeah, we have a whole BAP video about the whole process, and the only reason we do that is because our fish club, to do the BAP, you have to have someone come like see the tank and view the whole process and actually see that you have fry and that you didn't steal someone else's footage or something like that. But since we are 3 hours away from where our fish club meets, no one really wants to come out, which we don't blame them for. We make videos so that they can see them, and they have me talking in them, and that's how we get our BAP points. So in here, yeah, we have about 150 firemouth cichlids. We have about 10 black neon tetras, which are right there. There's one. We put these in there when the parents were in the process of spawning and raising up the fry. well, we put them in there before, just kind of as dither fish, so that they felt more calm, more relaxed, and felt more comfortable breeding in the tank. And the plants we have in here, there's a bunch of wet water wisteria and a big job fern right there is kind of behind this. There's a piece of wood there. We have a couple shells in here, as long as crushed coral, and that kind of represents something that I'm going to talk a little bit more in depth of right now, but it's just function over quality or over beauty, which in a breeding tank and a breeding setup is what you're actually shooting for. You want more function. You want the tank to be functional, to be good for the tank, or good for the fish, rather than being a perfectly aquascape tank, you know. So that's what we shot for in all of these 3 tanks that we'll look at here today. So yeah. We also have pothos roots, obviously, and then all the filtration is just sponge filters. This cloud of algae, I'm not 100% sure what it is, but it also kind of grows on the side and whatnot. But we did just do a huge 80% water change before this video, so if you think it's cloudy, we tried. And one more thing, we are going to be feeding these tanks, of course, all 3 of them, during the stream. Alright, so I'm just going to do the other 2 tanks, just talk about them, and then we'll start talking about breeding fish and some more broad topics. Alright, so let's move on here to the second tank. Watch this transition. Boom. Look at that. Now this is a 20-gallon long aquarium, and in this tank we are breeding some crebensis, which we're growing out right now. These fish are probably in the furthest stage of the grow out stage. In here we have about 20 kind of juvenile crebensis. However, they've already colored up to their gender, so all the females are nice bright and purple, even though they're like less than an inch large, so it's kind of crazy. Oh, that's cool. Fish Wizard, he says that he has some Oscar fry growing out. How many do you have? Because from what I hear, they can have up to like 6,000 fry, and that can be quite the challenge to get rid of. So yeah, the rest of the fish that are out front here are brilliant rasboras, and they're actually really beautiful. They look like just like fish you'd find in your creek, but they're not what you'd find in your creek. They're come from Asia, I believe. And that might even be some spawning behavior that they're showing right now. They're kind of flicking each other. That could be spawning behavior, I don't know. I think usually with most tetras and rasboras, the skinnier ones are the males and the fatter ones are the females. But I don't know, that it could just be one's more fed than the other and has eaten more, so I don't know. Sadly, I believe that my male Oscar was juiced, so his fertility is low. We have about 10 babies. Oh, that's sad. But hey, you might rather have 10 babies than 6,000. Okay, bye, Mizu. See ya. Anyway, obviously this tank is a complete representation of function over beauty. I mean, just look at this. We literally have a bag of crushed coral just sitting right there. Shells plopped all over, and nacre is just floating in mid-water column. This tank, along with the other two, are running on sponge filters. Gravel is a mixture of Eco-Complete and Black Diamond blasting sand. The light is just a DIY light. You can get, or not DIY, just a cheap LED light that you can get at Walmart. And normally I have this cabinet liner under it to kind of shade the light on the fish and in the tank, and that makes the parents more calmer, so that they more calm, that they so that they feel more comfortable to breed. But just for the live stream, make the tanks easier to see, brighter, more vibrant, I put those on top. All right. My pair just laid and the eggs have hatched. We have about 50 wigglers from them. That's cool, Fish Wizard. That's awesome. Alright. Is there anything else we need to talk about this? I don't believe so. We do have pothos behind. So that's that tank. Now this tank is going to be hard to view on the tripod. I'm just going to do this. Actually, I'm just going to get close down here because the view is horrible from there. But I'll try to keep it steady. It's another 20-gallon long. Substrate is Black Diamond blasting sand. Sponge filters again. This coconut hut is what our pink convicts, which are in here, bred in. And right now they have about 200 fry. Yeah, we're gonna have a tricky, tough time figuring out how to get rid of these. So yeah. But like I said, function over beauty. This is not an aquascape. You literally have a coconut hut, sponge filters, moss scattered across, and roots like growing across, algae all over the heater, and that's what we want. We want the fry to peck on the algae to get any infusoria. Obviously, right now they're much older than the stage that the fry would eat infusoria at. We actually, what I'll get into here in a few minutes, that we feed them crushed up anything, any fish food practically, which I'll show you how I do that here in a second. Get some close-ups on these fry. The parents are actually really beautiful compared to normal convicts. You can see the male's much larger, and the female's actually trying to court him into the coconut hut right now. You can see she'll like come up close to him and kind of flick her body at him. And she's got nice blue on her tail, as well as some orange on her belly. The male does have a little bit of blue, but it's not as vibrant as hers. So I'm not strictly sure how this. Okay, I don't know what that was. I did hear that earlier. I wasn't sure what it was. She must be like jumping or something. I don't know. But these what was I saying? I forget what I was saying. Oh yeah, I don't know how they developed this color of convict cichlids. They must have just had like some lutistic fish or something came out albino, but they were able to breed it and not have red eyes. I honestly don't know. If you know, put it in the chat because I'm curious to know. Alright, so that's my brooding rack. Now I'm going to do a quick little interaction with the chat, which I haven't been following. Basically, I want you to comment 1 for this tank, 2 for this tank, or 3 for this tank, for which one you want to watch as we talk about breeding fish. So, once again, 1 for the 40-gallon, 2 for the middle, and 3 for the bottom. Comment in the chat. Fish Wizard says 3, okay. Cast your votes in. This won't be as heated as election. Hopefully. DM says 1. Okay. Just put it in the chat, guys. 1, 2, or 3. Once again. Tank 1, tank 2, tank 3. When we get to 17 minutes, I'll stop. Or actually, yeah, 17 minutes, I'll take the vote in. I am actually going to do something kind of cool. I'm going to put 2 in the chat because I actually want to be this tank, but whatever puts it in, someone break the tie. We have 1, 1, 1, 2, and 1, 3. Who's going to break the tie? We're still tied, 17 minutes. Come on, someone. Yeah, tank 3 would be nice. The only thing is, it would just be shaky the whole time. I'd have to hold the camera. And plus, I don't think you guys just want to look down on a tank. You kind of want to be eye level with it, but yeah. I guess we'll just alternate, I think, through the stream. But for now, I think I'll just do 2. But then I'll switch to 1 and 3, so. Alright. So now we're going to talk about breeding fish. We'll feed them first, and then we'll talk about breeding fish. So, first of all, what do we want to do here? I think, okay, so, here's one thing I want to talk about. I'm actually going to turn the overhead light on, which will be brighter, so, alright, I'm going to flip the camera around. Okay, so what I'm going to show you here, actually, can I tilt the camera down far enough? No, not really. Okay, I'll just hold it up. So the way I feed my fry with any food that you like is I use a mortar and pestle, okay? And basically it's just a stone bowl and a stone kind of stick-like thing. You can put whatever food you want in it. So in this case, I'm going to use some tropical bug bites, but these are the large size, so obviously you can't feed them to small fish. And then I'm going to use veggie pellets from Omega 1, and this is a nice balance. You got some protein and you got some veggie. That's good to keep a balance in your fish diet. Alright? And what I'm going to do here is put a bunch of veggie pellets in. Put a bunch of these large bug bites in there. And I'm going to tilt the camera down so you can see they're all in there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take the thing here and we're going to grind these up here. And you can do this with any food of your choice. If you like some brand or a certain thing, if it's a flake, that'll work too. I just didn't use a flake in this demonstration because we're running low on it. And this can take a while. Since I don't have any teeny tiny fry and I don't want too much like just straight up powder going in there, I think I'm gonna stop now. You can see it's getting fairly fine, but it's not microscopic powder yet. So I think I'm gonna stop there. Seal the stuff up here. Alright, and now we're going to flip the camera around and I can show feeding the fish. Alright, let's go up here to the top. There we go. Okay. So I just get a pretty large pinch here for these guys because there's a lot of fish in here. And you can see it's just kind of like a medium, like pretty small pellet in there now. I go crazy for that. This is what I was talking about with the powder. I didn't want to crush it up too much because it would get a ton of powder in there. But I guess it doesn't really matter because the tank's already so cloudy. Let me just pull this down. There we go. So I'll just let it sit and you guys can enjoy that for a couple minutes. Well, just a minute or so. I'm actually going to grind it up a little bit smaller after I feed tank 2 because it the fry needs slightly smaller. They can't eat out of that. Yeah, these guys are really fun to watch eat. Alright, let's go down to the next tank. Alright, so this I'm going to feed the same size food because the fish are grown up to the point where you can eat that. These guys are a little bit hesitant, so they'll probably won't eat it. They won't eat it when it's falling, but they'll just kind of slowly come by and pick it up as we're watching. They're just scared of this right now, I think. We'll see, maybe not. Maybe they're just not hungry. But I haven't fed them at all tonight, so I don't know. Well, they can tell there's food. Rasboras are like pecking at like the tiny little things. Yeah, oh there, a crib hits one. Yeah, there's still some pellets floating at the top, so they'll kind of like slowly trickle in the cribs, and rasboras will hit those at least. Alright, next thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to take the mortar and pestle and grind up a little bit smaller for the fry below this tank. The thing I love about grinding up this food is you can use your favorite food, you know, your favorite cichlid pellets. Like you can pretty much, you can have like, if you want a good balanced diet, you can just get, so you got an African cichlid tank and a bunch of tropical tanks. Okay, great. You just get big, large cichlid pellets and veggie pellets. That would be a great diet, and you can just crush it up and you can feed all your fish with it, any size. So, yeah. Alright, let's go down below. I definitely put way too much food in here. Or grinded up too much food, but you can always use it the next day. Larger pellets the parents actually will clean up. They eat a lot actually, because, yeah. And fry, I'll chomp on the slightly kind of smaller piece, crumble, I guess. Let's get close up on this. Alright. Yeah, it's a nice view. So you can see these guys are chomping. Obviously, as soon as we get our BAP points, we're going to get rid of the parents because we do not want them to spawn again. Might even get rid of them sooner because they've already been acting like they're going to spawn again. And believe me, we do not want 400 babies. 200's way too much already, so... Yeah, this little coconut here. Alright, this little coconut here has a stone in it, under it, and that's what the convicts spawned on. So the female and male just spawned on that stone. And we didn't bother pulling the stone because they're, really good parents. Probably some of the best parents out there. Fire mouths are really good too. Obviously, we haven't bred every single cichlid or every single fish, so we don't know, but convicts, from what we know and what we hear they're some of the best parents out there. Large cichlids in general are good parents. Geophagus, Acara, Dempsey's, Jaguar cichlids, stuff like that. They're all decent parents. Now that's not saying that every single one of them will always raise a bunch of fry their first try. But in general, large cichlids are better than smaller stuff like cribs and rams. Alright, let's go back up here. Now we're going to talk about breeding fish and just some things you want to think about. I think we'll just start out with tank 1, just kind of slowly move our way down here. So let's make sure we get a good position on that. Alright. Let me just catch up on the chat here. Fish breeders. Okay, wait. The white albino cribs are getting more popular now, yes. That's for sure. I was at the pet store. There was a tank full of cribs. There was a pair in the back not giving up on protecting their eggs. Wow. You should just ask them, hey, can I pull this, can I buy this pair of cribs, and ask them if you can take the, whatever they're spawned on. Well, that would be fun. There's a crib right here who's actually chomping on the food that they didn't before. You can see that's a nice female crib right there. They're chomping on the food that fell right there. So yeah. Okay, we're about at 30 minutes-ish. Let's start talking about breeding fish. So, I'm not sure how many fish I've bred. I am by no means an experienced fish breeder. Alright, I've bred maybe 10, 15 species of fish. I'm not 100% sure. But I have learned a lot from breeding just those. I think once I get my convict points, the points, BAP points for the convicts, I'll actually be at 150, which will be an intermediate breeder, which is nice. So, just so you guys know, I am not an experienced breeder. This is just what I've learned from the past year and a half of breeding fish, and just keeping fish in general. So when you set up a tank for breeding fish, whatever the fish is, you want to go for function over beauty. You do not want to do a huge aquascape and then expect your rams to spawn in it. You don't need that. It costs extra money. If you really want that, that's great, but most of the time it's not going to work. You want to replicate their biotope as best you can, and sometimes that can be as simple as not doing anything, just adding water and putting guppies in. The guppies just breed, or platies, or mollies, or whatever live bearer it may be. And a certain, like, rare live bearers might require certain pHs and whatnot. But you guys understand what I mean. You want to go for function. You want to make the tank functional, suitable, make the fish happy, not the looks awesome, you know. In this 40 gallons you're looking at, we just have shells, substrate, crushed coral, pothos, stem plants. I mean, we're not going for like a professional aquascape. Lighting, we just go with cheap shop light LEDs, and use covered liners, like I said, to kind of calm the fish by lowering the amount of light goes into the tank. Of course, use a timer. Get the fish into a rhythm before you maybe try to adjust the pH or whatnot to that specific fish liking before you try to breed. Just make sure you have a healthy male and female. Believe me, you're not going to get any babies if you don't have a male and a female that are healthy. So that's really, like, a lot of people think, oh yeah, male and female, but like you really gotta understand what you are getting into. You gotta make sure, don't skip over, make sure you have a male and a female that are healthy. Alright, just look at my notes here. Okay, so if you're looking to getting into breeding, some of the easier fish to start out with, of course, guppies, mollies, platies, endlers, swordtails, all kinds of live bears, which is basically where the fish spawn and the female holds the babies in her body until they're old enough to be released into the tank, and then from there you have your fry done. Other fish, they lay eggs, and they fertilize the eggs, and then you wait a few days and the eggs hatch, and then they're in wigglers, and then eventually they start free swimming, and then eventually they grow up and become grown up of that fish. So those are your two most common ways that fish breed. So, like I said, some of the easier fish are live bears, of course. If you're just looking to getting into breeding, I recommend start out with live bears. Do all the easy ones, get them done with. You can have a blast setting up a guppy colony. Maybe you get up to like 150 in the guppy colony, like, whoa, we're taking up 5 40 gallons, or not, I mean, that's a little ridiculous, maybe 3 or 2, but you can put, and say you want to put up like, oh, hey, we're going to set up a pond outside and put them in there. With my pond, I'm not 100% sure how it's going to all work, because we've tested like during the middle of the day when the sun hits it. It goes all the way up to like 95 at its highest, and then all the way down to like 68 at the lowest. So I'm just not sure if that pond's going to work. We might have to move it into the shade and then install a heater or something like that. I'm not 100% sure how it's going to work, but yeah. If once you've bred live bears, I recommend starting with some beginner cichlids like convicts. They're just as easy as guppies, pretty much. Just make sure you have a stable tank, a well-established tank that is healthy, and make sure you have a male and a female. Not that hard to do. Males have much more extended fins and much larger than females who have rounded fins. Get a pair, and it's pretty much just they spawn, they raise their own fry. As long as they're mature, For some other beginner cichlids, rams, cribs, firemouths, acara. Those are some kind of medium, small to medium cichlids. I probably wouldn't go from convicts to like acara. Acara are a little bit harder to breed. But geophagus. Some of these fish I haven't bred, like acara and geophagus. I haven't bred. But Jack Dempsey's, like, you start getting into the larger fish, like Fish Wizard was saying. Oscars, those they can have up to like 6,000 fry. There's another way that fish breed, and that is where they spawn eggs, but then the female picks it up in her mouth, and she holds the eggs in there for about a month, and then puts them out. And those are called mouth brooders. And most of the African cichlids are mouth brooders. I think maybe all of them. I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong in the chat, but yeah, I'm pretty sure most. Well, not all African cichlids, but a good majority of them are mouth brooders. And I have bred African cichlids, of course. Alright. So, try to figure out what you want to breed, and then you want to think about your plan, the whole plan. So, you got a fish in mind. Now you got to go through the entire. You got to plan out. You got to know what's coming up. Obviously, you want to get your tank. You want to set it up. Make sure you have the parameters for the specific fishes you're trying to breed. Make sure you have healthy and mature male and female, of course. And if you're doing a colony, you can have more than one. Make sure you feed them well. Do some research about the fish. Know what fish you're getting into. Make sure that you understand, like, hey, they really like this specific thing. Water change, they like the water a little bit cooler after a water change. They like low light during the night. Things like that. Adding tannins, that kind of stuff, that kind of triggers. You got to know what that is. And obviously cichlids like convicts, firemouths, Oscars, they have hundreds of fry at minimum. And you gotta know, how many fry you're getting into, you know? That's one thing that we're still not super sure on, with the firemouths and convicts. We're not sure exactly where they're gonna grow out. They might work in here, might just have to sell them as juveniles. And so, where did I leave off? Triggers for spawning. Okay, yeah, so make sure you do your research, know what kind of things, like triggers, that help them spawn. You need to plan for fry, you need to know how to feed them, what they like at certain stages. Certain fish, like rams, they're microscopic, well, not microscopic, but they're very, very tiny, but the food you need to feed them is very tiny. Live baby brine shrimp is probably the best fry food. However, a lot of fry are much too small when they, much too small to eat that when they're first hatch out of their eggs or are given birth to. Usually it's just the egg hatchers that are too small to eat brine shrimp when they're first hatched. But things like when they first hatch, put some java moss in, let them feed off of infusoria, which is basically just micro organisms that grow on plants. You have it all in your tank water. It's in every single fish tank. And it's called infusoria, and it's a great first food for any fry. It's microscopic, like I said, you can't see it, but that's good fry food. Obviously, after infusoria, if you really want to know what you're doing, you could try vinegar. You could go like infusoria, then vinegar eels, and then brine shrimp, and then really small crushed up food of your choice, which is kind of what all the fish in this rack are at this point. And then obviously plan for grow out, which is what we didn't do. And then have a plan for selling, unless you're thinking about keeping 200 of the same fish, and then having them breed again and get 200 more. Yeah, that's gonna work. But anyway, you gotta know how to sell them, get rid of them, move them. So those are just kind of some basic things that you gotta know when you're getting into breeding a fish. They're just really basic, nothing super specific. And now I'm just gonna let you guys kind of just talk in the chat. We'll just kind of groove that way for the next 10 minutes, and then we'll be done with the stream. So if you have any questions that are, maybe longer, specific things about fish, I'll do my best to try to answer them. But I might not know them, but I'll do my best to answer them. Yeah, getting into rotifers or vinegar eels, it's not really necessary. However, if you're like a fish farm or like a breeder who's like making money off of it, you might want to consider doing that. That way you're consistent and you're not losing any batches of fry, but it's really not necessary. The fry can make it without that. So. Yeah, I can get the convicts show off defending their fry, attack your pinky. Okay. This is going to be quite a journey. You guys are going to like this. So, what I'm going to do here, just to demonstrate these parents, or the convicts are such great parents, I'm going to open the lid up here, and I'm just going to put my finger in. Of course, the fry think I'm going to feed them, but if the parents actually see my finger, they're probably going to bite it or fan out at it. If I move it, they might notice it. Usually the male's a little bit more aggressive. Oh. Maybe if I put a couple of my fingers in. That's weird. Oh wait, male kind of acted like he saw it. Maybe if I put my finger up like this. Yeah, he kind of went at it. He's not being very interactive. It's probably a sign that they're getting into spawning mode again rather than guarding fry. Oh, she went for it. She got a little aggressive there. But they're a little bit scared because I yeah, he saw she kind of fanned out at it. They're investigating it. I mean, my fingers don't look like they're harming anything, so they're not that worried about it. But anyway, I'll stop messing with them. But right now, they're just not as aggressive. Anyway, all right, let's do it like this for take 2. Alright, Oddball Aquatics has a pair of Polypterus senegalis, I don't know if I said that right, which are super cool. One is even platinum. Okay, let me just look up what they are. Oh, Senegal Bicher. Okay, yeah, they're cool. Interesting. Huh. Alright. Yep. Now's the time to ask those questions that you've been holding through the stream. Ask them now. I'll answer them. I'll do my best to answer them. I don't really like that view because you can't see the whole tank. Let me just try to move it closer. That should help. Yeah, that's good. That might be a good view. It crops out a little bit going from Streamlabs to YouTube, so I don't know how that. I'll probably have to scroll in just a little bit. Actually, it's alright. Yeah, we'll just leave it like that. Alright. Oh, I'm not live. Probably just like a second behind, so I'm gonna refresh this. In the future, I'm gonna be doing some streams on the tanks that are behind me. Which I'll just flip the camera. I have these turned off so that we don't get reflections, but this tank and then that tank down there, I'll probably be doing a stream on pretty soon, but I don't think it'll be a little bit shorter than this, because it's only 2 tanks. And I have a small stack, which is like this, but it's a 20, 10, and 10. So it's a little smaller. I'll probably be doing a stream on that as well in the future. But I just thought I'd show you that. Actually, no, I kind of like it when it's not zoomed in. Yeah, right there is actually really nice. I don't know why, but I like it like that. Do the rasboras show any signs of spawning? Well, I did mention they look like they were kind of acting a little bit spunky, kind of flicking one another. But other than that, no, not really. They're dither fish. We're not really adjusting the tank to what they like to try to breed them. So, yeah. Alright guys, only 3 minutes left, just a heads up. So if you have any questions, better get them into the chat now. Make sure you like the stream and also subscribe to my channel, Fishbook, if you haven't already. And don't forget to hit the little notification bell next to subscribe button after you click that. And set it to all, that way you're notified as soon as I upload a video. Of course, only if you're interested in aquarium fish. I do have another channel called Bird Brains, which is basically where I talk about birds, backyard bird feeding, birding, but that's besides the point. If you want to look that up, you can. It's called Bird Brains, so. Yeah, thanks, Fish Wizard. I don't know if you were on the stream when I said this a couple streams ago. I think it was the Amazon tank and the African cichlid. I think I mentioned somewhere during the streams that I'm doing a 200 tips and tricks for the aquarium fish keeper. That just like range from very simple things to more complicated things. Simple things as use sponge filters, use plants, that kind of thing. Just to try to, give people some interesting content to learn things from, just kind of as a kind of way to give back to all the subscribers that subscribe. Yeah. Yep. Just what DM said. Yep. It probably won't be released for a little while because we haven't gotten all 200 together yet, but yeah. Alright guys, I'm gonna head off now. Thanks for stopping in. Don't forget to like before you leave, before I end it. It's been great to have you guys all on here. I'm not 100% sure what the next breeding rack or thing is going to be. I do know that I'm going to be doing a stream Friday night, 10 p.m. Eastern time, which I'll send out a notification for. It's going to be a shared stream with Benny's Aquatics, so stay tuned for that. Otherwise, I'm going to sign off here. Thanks for watching.